Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video. My name's Dion and today I'm going to be talking to you about 6 trades I took last week, all paper trading of course, since I'm still actually learning ICT. Yeah, we'll keep it at that. I took 6 trades. I got all my notes here. So I took about 6 trades at a 50-50% win rate. We got 2 out of the 6 trades not following my trading plan. We'll go into that when we go into the charts. And overall for the week, it was a plus 28% week, which is pretty good, but it's paper trading, so it doesn't really mean much to me. So I'll start off with the first trade. We'll go into the before shot. So this was a counter trend trade. Now, what I mean by that is that I'm going against the overall bias, which I have, and my bias in this case is bullish. So because I am bullish, based on my trade setup and the way that I've been trading, I was looking for price to actually come through and take out these previous lows, this daily high, the daily low, before giving me a bullish setup to then long to the daily high you can see up there. So at the time, I thought that this was the appropriate way to go, but obviously we're analyzing this in hindsight, so we'll be able to see why this was not a good trade. So this was a finish trade. You can see that I got stopped out fairly quick, but pay attention to what happens next after the finish day. So like I said, my overall bias was to go bullish, expecting price going higher through the daily highs, which is what price did deliver shortly after I was taken out. So where was my entry? Somewhere in there, but pretty much I was going short, but the setup which I was looking for, like the confirmations which I was looking for to enter long, they already happened, but I was not paying enough attention to the details in the charts. My bullish setup was already there. Now, I'm not going to go into the charts to explain the trading setup, to explain the strategy, because I'm still learning, but it's important for you to know that my setup to go long was there, but I decided to go short because I didn't see the details with enough clarity. So that was my bad there. So second trade we have here, we'll open up the entry. So this one here, according to my notes, it was a successful trade, but instead of sticking to the plan, I traded on my overall knowledge, which I learned in ICT so far. And this was a plus 17% trade. So look, I'm not going to break down the strategy. As I said, I'm not going to break down ICT. It's not my role. It's not my job. I'm still learning. But just know that with this trade, I did not stick to the plan because I did not execute the trade based on the model I've been taught through ICT. Instead, I used the entire knowledge of what he's taught, and I sort of put all these pieces together, analyzed the market, and I sort of came to this conclusion that this would happen. And I entered short based on other confirmations or other models which he may have touched on. So in my opinion, it's a good trade, but it's not a good trade because a good trade would have followed my plan, which in this case I didn't. But it's a very profitable trade. It's a 17% trade, which is great. As you can see, this is how it turned out in the end. Finish day, there's no point going through that one. So with my third trade, my notes say good analysis, but bad timing. So the trade moved in my favor afterwards. So this was a minus 1% trade. So as you can see, I have my analysis, all this and that set up. I'm going to reiterate again, I'm not here to teach ICT. I'm not here to go through my method of trading. I'm just reviewing the trades and I'm giving you what I think is actually important to sort of like take in. So in this case, good analysis. And the reason why I said good analysis is because I marked out all the appropriate levels, which I would have usually used. And I think I did so quite well. Now, let's go into the finish trade. So I was looking to go long, but as you can see, we were clearly stopped out. And this happened at just before 8:15. And according to my trading plan, my trading session doesn't actually happen until 9:30 New York time. So I took the trade prematurely. And this is my bad because if you look into it, what actually happened, if I was just to wait until that 9:30 or so, then the trade would have been very valid for me to take. Like the setup would have presented itself right then and there. You can see how strong price did go up, but unfortunately I was greedy, and that's what pushed me to take the trade quicker than I should have. But also I do want to say, because I am just testing this new strategy and this new plan, I am being a little bit reckless with it, because I want to test run it. Like, how does this trading model work in London session? How does it work in this trading session? Or how does it work in this situation? So I am really getting my hands dirty, making the mistakes which I feel like are important, because with ICT, I guess he tells you what to do, he tells you what not to do, but I think it's very different to hear someone tell you not to do something and then actually experience it for yourself. So that's the reason why I was taking some of these trades early. Like, I know, like, I was in the trade, I mean, I was on the charts and I looked at it and I said, this doesn't fit my trading plan, I shouldn't take this trade. But I took the trade anyway, because I feel like when you're in the trade, or like say you're paper trading, whatever, once you enter that position, you get a really strong feel for like what's actually happening. You get a bit of skin in the game. So that's the reason why I'm doing that. So that's how that trade would have played out. Now we have another good trade here. It's a 9% trade, and this is actually my favorite trade. Great analysis. I picked a low-hanging target, and I'll explain that in a sec. It's my favorite trade of the week, and we made 9%. So what do I mean by I chose a low-hanging target? Before I was doing ICT, I was doing swing trading. So I hold my trades for days, a couple of days. So I have my long, big target, but from my entry to that target, either it be to the upside, to the downside, there will be other smaller like profit levels. And I've found out in my experience trading that when I am trying to hit these big trades, these big swing trades, I will have price come up to certain targets and then reverse on me and then take me out, because my trade management wasn't very good. So what ICT suggests is just picking the low hanging fruit, the easy to hit targets, because then even if it is 1.5%, 2%, 1%, you just take it, and then that's it. You're done for the day. Take a little bit, leave it. That's done for the day. So just picking these small setups, just to get used to the entry, the feel for the way this works. That's what I've started doing. Like, honestly, over the past week, I could have hit some pretty big trades, but I chose to just aim for the low hanging fruit first, just to become familiar with it. And then once I'm ready, I can start expanding like my time frames or whatever. But so far, so good. So we'll leave that one there. That was trade 4. Oh, we haven't even gone through it. So yeah, this was the entry. This is what I was looking for. This was the finished trade. It ran straight through. What's going on here? Is this... Okay, so this is another thing with the trade. So you can see I have my little notes section here. Price was in drawdown, but I held on to it because of my underlying idea that price was going to run those highs. So what I mean by that is I entered a position, and I have been entering these forward testing positions on my Soul Rice Finance account. So I'm not technically paper trading because I am playing with live funds, but I am using such a small amount, it's actually insignificant to my total P&L. So with this trade, I entered long on Soul Rice Finance. And oh, by the way, I will leave the link to that in the description. You can double check every trade I've done on here. You can cross-reference it with the trades I actually took, and you can see that I did take these trades. So I went into drawdown, but because of my preconceived idea, my underlying bias of price shooting upwards to that area up there, I decided to hold. Now, this isn't good. You should not do this, and you shouldn't be trading without a stop loss, in my opinion. I did so because I was using very, very low leverage. Like, I'm not going to try and justify myself. That's just what I did. It's I know how I learn. This is how I'm learning. Just going to leave it at that. But we did go into a drawdown, and we came back out, and it ended up hitting target. But not just that. Let me show you what actually happened. I think this is the trade. Yeah, so this trade was a 1 to 9, but it could have easily been 1 to 18, 1 to 24. So it could have been nuts, but like I said, I'm not trying to catch these huge trades at the moment. I'm just trying to learn the method. I'm trying to learn, my entries. I'm just trying to perfect this trading plan and this trading method, becoming familiar with it, and aiming for these low, easy to hit targets is the way I've decided to go about it. Great trade. Next up, we got trade 5. So I used my plan, but at the wrong time of the day. So I've got all my analysis, but you can see during this time frame, I had this fair value gap set up, and I was waiting for a retrace into this fair value gap before going short. But look at the time. It's like what, 9 p.m., 10:30 p.m. here. It's nowhere near 9:30 a.m. So everything played out correctly. Not played out. I did my analysis correctly in my opinion, but I was taking the trade at the wrong time of the day. Again, I was completely aware of this. I just wanted to see what would happen. And here's how it played out. It did not play out in my favor at all. And if you go on the finish day, you can see that I was very wrong with this trade. So, hey, I'm not trading at that time anymore. Let's go on to the last trade. So this is my 6th trade. I used my plan during the London and technically stopped out, but I held on because I didn't have a stop loss set. But if I had waited until New York, then a much better trade would have set itself up. So this was a trade idea here. As you can see, 4:30. We got 2 o'clock, which is the London Open according to the New York time. So I was taking this trade during towards the end of London, but this is what happened. We had price reverse. I was in big drawdown here. But because I was risking such a minute amount, I think this entire drawdown was something like 10 cents or something. So it's something crazy. But price ended up rallying up and hitting the target. So I'm glad I held on to it for this reason. But this is also the reason why I'm taking these screenshots, like before, after, and when the day is finished. Because I can see how the day did play out. Look here, 9 o'clock. Had my setup within the 9 to 9:30 area. And a much better trade opportunity would have taken place. I'm not going to go into that trade setup because I find no point me trying to teach you something which you may not be trying to learn, and it's something that I'm still learning. So we'll just leave it at that. But so far, it's been a really great week. Last week was a really great week for the forward testing. I can't complain. Not only was the P&L positive, but I feel like the amount of data which I collected and the amount of practice I was able to go through was just very beneficial to my knowledge and my trading going forward. So this is just the forward testing. Let me show you what the back testing is. So the back testing is way crazy, and the back testing is a little bit more fun because I experiment with different trading pairs. For example, you see here, we got Ethereum. Here we got Solana, and I'm just trying more things. I'm really trying to become familiar with the market because, I don't know, I just feel like that's the way for me to get better. Just gathering as much data as I can, becoming as familiar as I can with the market conditions, how this trading method works. And at the same time, I'm still going through my notes. I'm still writing everything down. Like, the work is being put in. Don't you worry about that. But I'm going to leave the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed my forward testing recap of the previous week. I will be doing the same thing next week. So this week, just like last, I will be documenting all the trades I'm taking, back testing and forward testing. If you want to see some back testing, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to show you the back testing. But yeah, this is what I'm going to keep my content as for a while, I think. Mostly just going through the actual trading itself, because that is my main focus. I'm putting in at least 2 to 4 hours a day into this. So this is what most of my content is going to be focused on. But we'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you in the next one.